long is a piece of string? Genuine question. And you're probably thinking to yourself, is today the day? Has she finally cracked? Amy's gone off the deep end, lost her mind. I want you to think about that feeling, okay? Think about the confusion. How long is a piece of string? Where is she going with this? Why do I have so many questions? How could anyone possibly know that? And all of those feelings are exactly what I go through when someone asks me, how many jobs should I apply to every day? I have no idea. I could not begin to answer that question for you because I just don't know. I do believe there is something called the law of diminishing returns, where if you go too far, too high, too fast, too big, the efficiency falls off. Another time. We'll talk about that another time. Not the first time I've said it on the channel. You might have heard me talk about that before. So the answer is roughly as many roles as it makes sense to apply to. Okay, that's like the overall probably unhelpful answer, but let's break it down. How do we figure out what that is? I told y'all recently when I talked about how I would conduct my own job search if I had to, that I am going to focus on probably 1 or 2 a day. I want to be really thoughtful and strategic. I want to spend more time networking and doing other job search stuff than applying. I think applying is definitely valuable, but it is not the only thing I'm going to do. So for me personally, because I've done this math, because I've done all the things I'm going to encourage you to do, I've narrowed it down to probably 1 to 2 per day, 5 to 10 per week, with lots of other supplemental activity. So you can watch that video if you'd like. I'll link to it up above. But that's how I did the math for myself. Your math is going to look a little different, and here's how you're going to do it. You're going to start first and foremost. You have to understand what you are bringing to the job search table. You have to get real clear. This is what I'm good at. This is what I want to do. And this is what I can get paid to do. Line up those 3 things, or at least 2 out of the 3 is helpful. And that should be your job search target. If you do not know how to identify that, I have another video for you to watch. So please check out the Venn diagram for job seekers. I actually go deep into those 3 circles and where they overlap. That will help you determine, okay, now I understand these are my superpowers. This is what I can get paid for. That's what I need to go out and target. Wonderful. You know yourself. You figured that part out. Very, very important first step that frankly not enough people take the time to do. So watch that video, figure out your shared space there. Okay. Once we have that understanding of ourselves, we need to now look at the labor market. And there's something we talk about in recruiting, and it's called available and addressable. Available, addressable labor market from a recruiting perspective is how many candidates potentially, or potential candidates or prospects could do a thing. That's the available market. I need an embedded software engineer. How many embedded software engineers exist? The addressable market, that's available, right? They're out there. Addressable is like, okay, well now who's actually going to take my call? Who's actually a fit for some of the extra nuances that I have? Maybe it's a US-based role on site in Boston. Okay, the entire embedded software engineering market is not coming to your in-office role in Boston. So you have to narrow that down to what's actually available and addressable. Jobs works the same way, okay? There might be an absolutely fantastic recruiting manager role in, I don't know, Belgium. Okay, let's say it's in Belgium and it's with a fintech company. I've never worked for a fintech company. I've never been to Europe. Would I be a viable candidate? It doesn't really matter that I would like to do it. It doesn't really matter that I would enjoy living in Belgium. They are not going to hire me. I don't have the work authorization. I'm sure I don't have the relevant experience. I don't have the knowledge that folks local to them would have. It would make no sense for them to consider my application. So I'm not going to apply. So understanding the available and addressable market that you can realistically work in is going to help you narrow down the right jobs for you to apply to. We're starting to get some insight about that piece of string so that we can start measuring. Okay, so I've now narrowed it down, like again, using myself as an example. I know I'm not relocating. Okay, I'm not. I don't care how great the job is. If it's in the Bay Area, it is not for me. My family would revolt. Okay, so I have to pursue opportunities where I can work out of the greater Seattle area where I happen to live. Okay, I'm not moving. If it's a remote role for a company based in Austin, but they don't care that I'm in Seattle, great. That could be an option. Remote roles, very rare these days, so I'm not going to count on it, but that's going to be part of my thought process here. Is this available to me? Is this an addressable opportunity that I could actually fit? Okay. So once I've landed on those two things, I know myself really well, what I'm good at, what I can get paid to do. I figured out what is the actual market available to me, job openings, companies that are growing, things like that. Now I'm going to work on that alignment. I got to match those things up. I got to take my availability, my interest, my skills, my superpowers, and I got to match them up with those open roles and positions that are actively accepting applications. Now understand, this is different from networking. This is different from keep me in mind conversations. This is different than looking for, hey, do you see anything opening up in the next few weeks or few months? Good to plant those seeds. It's good to be on someone's mind when they go to open a role. This is like the dream, right? Somebody like you've been in touch with that manager and y'all have bonded over the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl, whatever it might be, right? And a month later, they're opening a position. They're like, wait, I've been talking to Bob for like 3 months about football and stuff. I think they'd actually be good. You want to be top of mind. That's how you get invited to apply. So don't sleep on that. That's a networking conversation. We will have another time if that's helpful for you. So I'm finding those openings. I'm finding those positions that I feel good about. Here's the thing. I know there are going to be people in the comments that are going to be yelling about fake jobs or whatever. Go scream into the abyss, please. Because I'm not interested. Okay, if you cannot identify a fake job, let's have that conversation. If you are genuinely finding yourself falling for fake jobs over and over and over again, please tell me what that looks like, because I would like to help you avoid that in the future. I will do some research. I will chat with you. I will seek to understand what's going on there. I will create a video for you on how to identify fake jobs. I'm actually working on a video about scams, very timely. So if you're concerned about all of that or any of that, drop a comment, send me an email. Let's talk it out, because this is an important topic, just not one we're talking about today. Save your comments. Okay. All right. So I'm finalizing that alignment. I'm taking the things I'm really good at, I'm matching it up to the open positions that I'm finding, and I'm applying. As I've mentioned in the past, 1 to 2 a day for me is probably going to be about right. It could be 5 a day for you. It could be 3 a day for you. It could be 1 a week for you. There are no rules. You get to decide, and the deciding factor is first and foremost availability. Do the jobs I'm a fit for actually exist? As well as appetite. Do I want to go through the paces of filling out an application, uploading my resume, doing any tweaks if that's what I got to do, things like that. I have lots and lots of videos on how to tweak your resume. It shouldn't take more than a few minutes, things like that. So please check out the entire video library. I'm sure you will probably find answers to questions around all of those things. But you 100% get to decide, this is my threshold. I'm comfortable applying to X number. I'm comfortable spending 2 hours a day, perusing the internet and doing applications or whatever. And that's fine. Cap it. Cap it. You don't have to keep going. There will come a time where you reach a peak and the effectiveness of that effort starts to drop off. Law of diminishing returns. Okay? Here's the secret sauce here. Okay? If there's any secret sauce at all to be found, it's follow-up. I have had a number of job seekers who were very well qualified, who had filled out an application, who had done all the things, tracked me down, tracked my team down. I do have instructions in my LinkedIn profile if you're interested in working with my company, how to get in touch with the recruiting team. And I can count numerous hires that we made because people followed up with us. Now, we probably would have found their resume anyway. We do look at all of them, at least the ones that pass the knockout questions. But it did kind of put them to the front of the line, to be honest. Like, oh, you did apply. Oh, great. Okay, yeah, there's some good data here. Let me go look. And then, in a couple cases, I'm like, oh my gosh, we've already got the hiring manager looking at your resume. So I use that opportunity to be like, hey, hiring manager, I sent you this resume 2 days ago. By the way, this candidate tracked me down, reminded me they're interested. It's a good thing, right? Like, we like that. We like the proactiveness. So if you are comfortable doing that, it's not required by any means, but if you are comfortable doing that, follow-up can sometimes get just enough of a nudge that it gets you moving. Right? Gets you moving through the process, gets a call back that you may have not gotten or may have gotten down the road. So we're kind of speeding things up there. So I like that. I like speed. All right. So those are the things I would tell you to focus on. I do not care personally about the number of applications. I care about the alignment and the effort. I care about making sure I'm targeting roles that I feel good about, that I'm truly, truly qualified for. I care about being able to track down potential people to network with, hiring authorities, people I might potentially work for, recruiters at the industries, companies I want to work for, things like that. That's where I'm going to spend my time. The application should be quick and dirty. I'm not interested in spending hours and hours. I'm not going to rewrite a resume every time. I'm not going to pore over an application for hours. I have done Workday applications in 10 minutes. Like, they're not hard. Multiple. I'm not talking about one time. Multiple. My resume is incredibly easy to parse. It's a simple Word doc. I've never had an issue with my data not being in the right place. Also, I copy and paste things from my answer bank. I have collected anecdotes over the years, and you can do this too. I have collected, you'll see this top of funnel friction, right? Application questions, open-ended questions. You need to answer those because companies are using that as a filter, okay? But I will copy and paste and tweak those answers. I'm not rewriting everything from zero. I have a cheat sheet. Consider a cheat sheet, all right? So anyway, I hope that helps y'all. I went really long here. I didn't mean to take this much time, but I really think, again, the bottom line for me, if you are applying to hundreds of roles a week, one of two things is true. You're either applying to anything and everything without any consideration of actual alignment or addressable and available market, Or two, you are in an incredibly hot market, which is absolutely on fire, which has hundreds and hundreds of roles available, and there is really no good reason for you to not be getting a call. Which is it? And if there's a third option, someone please tell me what it is, because I have no idea. One of those two things, I'm quite sure. All right, y'all. Hope that helps. Let me know down below if there's anything we should go deeper on or questions that you might have. Happy to answer them as best I can, and we will see you next week.